Your mindset around money is so crucial for trading. You'll see that if you have a tough time with money, you don't have a mindset of abundance with money, you don't know how to make money, it's going to be very hard to succeed in trading. Today I want to give you my best tips on how to focus on your money mindset, how to improve that money mindset, how to become better, and how to be comfortable making more money. These are tips that will be maybe a little bit counterintuitive, so bear in mind that these are not things you might be used to now if you have a problem with money and you have a tough time making money. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so by no means I'm a psychologist. I have no clue how psychology works. At least I've studied a little bit myself, but I'm not a full expert into it. The tips I'll share with you here today are things that work for me. They might work for you. They may be different for you as well. So you gotta test it out, see if they work for you or not. And the goal here is not to make a video with like 10 tips or like 20 tips on money mindset. I want to make this very results focused so you know what to do. Then you can apply these tips for yourself. I'll give you only 4 tips today, but these are things that worked for me in the past and I think you can use to improve your money mindset in trading. And hopefully it's going to serve you for like everything else other than just trading. So in life in general. Now I got to point this out, but the very first key in making sure you have a good money mindset is you need to make sure your finances are solid. That you save some money, you invest some money, and you spend some money correctly. If these things are not in place correctly, so if you make money but you spend it all, or if you make money but then you invest it all and you don't have any money to spend on food, then of course that's an issue, right? This needs to be in place. I've done a video on that in the past where I share with you the process on how to break down the money you earn, how much to save, how much to invest in trading, how much to put on the side. If you've not watched this yet, it's going to be a link over here in the corner. Go watch this video first on how to save your money, how to manage it, to grow it over time. This will make it sure that you can invest in some coaching for trading or something else, some resources, and grow your own trading account over time. So that's very crucial. If you're at a point now where you have a lot of debt and you don't have much money to spend or you don't have much money to invest, it's going to be hard to have a good mindset around money because you need to pay these debts first. But once you get over it, then you can start to build a much better money mindset. Alright, tip number 2 here, and that's something I heard from Jeremy Newsom. I'll play a clip right here because I think he said it best. I cannot say it better than himself. So go ahead.
I've yet to find something that can change your body chemistry and your psychology and your physiology faster than giving, especially an amount that you might be uncomfortable with. So let's say you normally give, like you mentioned, you make $30,000 a year and you give $5,000 away. What if you put your mind to giving $20,000 away in 2022 or 2023 or the next year? You go, well, that's insane, bro. I only make $30,000. Like I can't give $20,000 away. What will happen though is your brain will start to create questions and beliefs and thoughts on how can I, rather than I can't, how can I do it? Because again, when we're giving, it feels good. It's amazing to the world. And there's one very important principle that I think a lot of people would agree with. The more you give, the more you receive. And if you want to test that universal law, give some money away, a little bit more than you're used to, get scared, get uncomfortable, and watch you get more money. It's amazing. It's incredible the way it works.
So as you've seen in the clip, I'm sure it was clear. I'm sure you got some value out of it. But the key here is to give money away. As soon as you give some money away, you create some more abundance for yourself. People who hold tight on their things, they're afraid to spend money. They're afraid to give anything to other people. Like they are afraid to give food to people, for example, because they are afraid they will not have food for themselves. They're not in an abundance mindset. They are in a scarcity mindset. And it makes it very hard to earn more because you're always stressed out about not giving away. You don't want to spend on something. You don't want to spend on some tools that can help you make more money over time. And that is not good for trading, of course, because in trading, you got to be willing to spend. You spend on losses. You spend on bad trades. You spend on some mistakes. You got to spend money on your trades to be able to go and get the profitable trades. If you're so afraid to take a loss, then you won't get the win at all at some point. So I had some students who were scared recently, and I got the same feeling a few years back when I had a really good run in trading and I had like a really good month, a record month. But then I was scared to take the next trade because I was afraid to lose the next trade. Now you can do this for a while, like for maybe a few weeks. But if you do this too long, if you're too afraid to spend money for a long time, or you're too afraid to even just lose a bit of money, then it's going to be a hard thing for trading, of course. So if you practice giving some money away to either a charity, to some people you know, to anything you want to think about, give some money away, you create some abundance for yourself, and then you're able to receive, make more money in the future. So that's the most counterintuitive here because you have to practice giving money away. You cannot wait to just get wealthy to give some money away. You got to do it before that to be able to reap the benefits of it. But that makes a big difference. So let me know what you think of that below in the comment section, and let me know if you agree with this or not. I'm curious to hear. There's going to be some controversy here for sure, so I want to know your thoughts. And let's go to tip number 3 here. And that is, don't scratch every penny. Now, this is something I've been guilty of for a long time. And even till today, sometimes I have to kind of catch myself doing it. So I make a lot more money now than I did back a couple of years. And back a couple of years, I was trying to always get the cheapest flight, the cheapest thing, finding the cheapest product, trying to find like free alternative for things. And sometimes there's a value to it. Like sometimes you don't want to pay a lot of money for things you can get for free. But there's also a point where you don't want to scratch every single penny. You don't want to have always the best, cheapest price. And the reason for this is the more you kind of try to find the cheapest price, first of all, number one, the more time you waste trying to find the cheapest price. So if you spend like 5 hours researching for a product that you save $20 on, is this really worth it? Even like if you save $100 on the product, that's $20 an hour for 5 hours you wasted. So is your time worth more than $20 an hour? Probably if you're a trader who makes money, or probably if you're someone who has a business, you make a lot more than $20 an hour. So if you spend time trying to save money that way, it's just counterproductive. But that's only the first thing. The second thing is the more you try to scratch every penny, find the cheapest price, the more you teach yourself that you have to be careful around money. You cannot make more money, so you have to do the best with the money you have right now. You're not confident you make more and more money over time, that you'll pay 1,000 times for this small difference in price, so you want to cash the small difference in price. You're not confident enough you'll make money in the future. So that's something you teach yourself, teach your mindset, that in the future you might not be able to make money anymore. And that's why you gotta save money now. So you gotta be careful around this. Like that's really tough. The thing is, every single time I paid a little bit more for something, and let's say I find it's like cheaper somewhere else, like a few days later or something, or whatever that is. Anytime I spent a bit more money on something, I never regretted it. It was always fun. I was always okay with it. I never ran out of money ever at all. I never came to a point where I wish I had saved money on that thing in the past, ever. So all these things are in your mindset where you feel like you have to be getting the best price possible, but you realize that even if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You're still making more money now. You're still recovering from that money you spent more in the past, and everything is still fun. Now, this won't apply, of course, if you're struggling now, if you have a lot of debts, if you have a hard time and you have like a very small salary. Like, don't try to like, of course, spend more on things you don't have to spend more on. That's not the point. The point here is really that you have to be able to, when you make enough money, doesn't have to be a lot, but a decent amount, then you can start to not waste so much time on scratching every penny and finding always the best, cheapest price possible for everything. Okay, so be careful of that. You gotta teach your brain that you can make more money. Teach your brain you are abundant with money and with wealth, and that you are able to make more and more and more money over time. And that will, of course, be more rewarding. Even if you have to spend a bit more money now, you're teaching your brain a good lesson. So that's really powerful. Okay, my number 4 tip, very in line with what you just talked about, is sometimes you gotta make yourself a bit uncomfortable. And what I mean by this is it's really funny. So for a long time I had these like limiting beliefs about technology. I don't want to buy a laptop, it's too expensive. I don't want to get into this, it's too much money. I don't want to get a coach here, it costs way too much and it's ridiculous. And I might not be able to make my money back on that investment in the coach, for example. And all these times that I kind of step away from something, I created for myself some limitations, some limiting beliefs about money. Like, oh, you can spend $6,000 on a coach because you might not be able to make it back ever. You cannot just buy a new laptop because you bought one like the year before, because that's just wasting money. Right? All these things are limiting beliefs. Now, you can believe them or you can get out of them, but you cannot do both. That's something you have to think about. So for example, I told myself for many years I didn't need to buy a car because like I was traveling, I was in Thailand here for a while. I was having fun. I was renting a car sometimes, but I didn't need to buy one because buying one is like way too expensive. Why would you ever want to buy a car if you're traveling, going around and going to different countries and stuff? You don't need to buy a car, right? But then that was limiting belief. That was a belief about money, saying I couldn't afford a car for any reason, and I totally could afford it. That's the thing. It's nothing about like not having enough money on a monthly basis to afford it. I could just buy the car with like 2 weeks of trading profits in that case. And I didn't buy it for a long time. But then eventually I kind of got pissed off about it. I was renting this car to another company that was actually more expensive than buying a car itself. And I said, oh, I'll just buy a car then. I just bought the car the next day. And then I feel much more free after in terms of mindset, because I was then pushing my limiting beliefs of, oh, buying a car is too expensive, you're going to waste some money on fuel, you're going to waste some money on the car. My parents always told me that if you have a car, you're wasting money on fuel. And people who don't have a car are actually more rich at the end because they don't spend money on the car, the fuel and everything around, and the maintenance. But it's actually like if you make a lot of money, who cares? It doesn't matter. Sure, that's something you got to think about if you make like $4,000 a month or like $5,000 a month, like you're tight on your expenses. Buying a car will make a big difference, right? Buying a car, the maintenance and stuff and the fuel. But if you make like 10K, if you make 20K, 40K a month, then that doesn't matter. That's something I want to make. It's such a small difference at the end of your year or at the end of even like a decade. Right? The money you spend on your car, on the fuel, everything will not make a big difference on that $500,000 or $600,000 a year. You got to think about this. You got to put things in perspective. So the money I make now, for me, it makes sense to spend on a car, whatever that is. Up to recently, I told myself, I just bought a tablet last year. I'm not going to buy a new tablet this year. And it's stupid. It's ridiculous. But then I thought, maybe I want to test an iPad, see how that works out. See if I'm able to make use of it for trading. And I said, it's stupid. I'm not going to spend money on an iPad. I just bought a tablet last year. I don't need to buy a new one this year. It's ridiculous. I'll have to wait a few more years. Use that tablet that I have already, then buy the next one when this one doesn't work anymore. Again, limiting beliefs. Like, you don't have to do this, right? Sure, you could use a tablet if you want, but if you make enough money, and if you want to prove yourself, you can make your money back again and again and again in the market, in trading, or in anything else other than trading, then you gotta sometimes be uncomfortable. Now, I decided to just go around it. Because I'm making this video here on money mindset, I might as well just live by example. And I spent money on this iPad. I bought a new iPad this year. I bought a laptop a few months ago. I bought a tablet last year also. And I think it's crazy a little bit, but I'm pushing myself to be uncomfortable here. And I know by doing this, I'm showing myself and my mindset that I can make the money back. I'm becoming more abundant with money. And I'm not trying to just hold my money like so tight that I'm afraid to spend any penny of it. So that's something you have to think about. Now, I'm not saying here you got to spend your money on all things you want. I'm not saying you got to like buy a Rolls Royce the next day because you have enough money to do so. I'm not saying you gotta buy your Lamborghini like tomorrow because you can afford it with the monthly payment. What I'm saying here is you gotta spend to be a little bit uncomfortable, to break your limiting beliefs. And of course, giving money away is also a good thing. Not scratching every penny is also a good thing. You gotta do what makes you a little bit uncomfortable, but not like go for anything and blow all your money like in one place. That's of course not a good thing. But if you feel like you're afraid to spend money, but you make plenty of money to be able to spend and afford these things, then that's where you gotta kind of push yourself, do it, spend the money, and then learn and training myself that you can make it back, you'll make it back in the future, and you'll probably make even more as a result of improving your mindset with money. So those are my tips. Again, these are not really related to trading, but it's because money mindset is much wider than trading, and it's hard to work this out in trading. You gotta work this out in some other aspect in your daily life to then see an impact in trading. You'll find if you do these things, it's a lot easier now to take your losses correctly, deal with them appropriately, and not be pissed off because you lose $100 in trading or $500 in trading, because you know you can make it back in the future. So these things will help. Let me know your comments below as always in the comment section. I want to hear what you think. Are these tips useful or not? Will you apply them or not? Let me know which one you will apply below. And I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.